Welcome back to YMT112 Algorithm and Programming 2. We are still discussing chapter 14, Applets in Java. So we discussed the first question about creating just a simple applet where we apply some contents like labels and text fields, different types of text fields, and buttons. So we saw how we can create an applet first of all, then how we can create panels and place them on the applets, pretty much similar to the applications or GUI applications that we studied in the previous chapter. However, the difference is the creation of the constructor and also the type of the class we are extending. So this is the idea. Now let's move to the second question and see what is it asking us. What would happen if we replace the JApplet? We created this one by JApplet, not JFrame, because this is an applet. JApplet class by applet class in question 1. So what would happen? This is the outcome actually. Let me just show you how we can do it. I copied and pasted literally the applet we created, vowel calculator earlier, and now what I'm going to do, I'll change the name. I have to change the name. What I can do is I can call it vowel calc, and this is an acceptable name. Now I don't want to extend this applet, JApplet. I want to extend the applet. Of course, I'm not importing. I have not yet imported the JApplet. Now I'm not interested in this. I'm not we imported earlier JApplet, but now we are not actually fully having the import statement, so we have to import the applet, not the JApplet. And in this one by itself is not available in the swing. It's available in applet, so it has its own class stream package. So we can import it, or if you like, you can just put asterisk if you're going to use other classes or methods of other classes. So far there is no problem, but only one thing, I would highly recommend that you remove all these J's, since we are not using any J class or any J method. So we can just replace those, leave them plain without J, similar to what we did to the applet. So I'm just cleaning these J's, okay? And this one is left, this one is left, this one is left, this one. So I'm doing for all of them, okay? Button also, button. All right, that's it. So will it run? Yes, I just actually pasted this one here, but let me just run it and show you how things go, and then after that we speak about it. Now look, what kind of difference do we have? This one is white. Whatever you see is extremely white, and like it has no container. Now look, I cut this one, I took it as a screenshot, as a capture, and I placed it here. Now what happens is this one has its own pane or container where we place the components. This one actually places it on just one plain container without having this one, the one you see with the gray, light gray color. So this is the main difference. There are other differences. You can go and check, read, please do some research and read. Now look at the button also. Look at the these fields, if you can visualize some differences. Anyway, it would work. Now maybe you think like, what's the difference? Why wouldn't I use applet? You can use it, but JApplets do have their own extensive applications that we cannot replace them totally by applet, and that's why we have these two applications. You can use with whatever suits you in the application. As I said, there are other different differences. You can go through the internet or through your textbook and try to get the differences from these. And actually that's it for this question. We shouldn't extend. Code an applet that creates the line drawing as follows. So we have some lines. You can see just different lines 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines intersecting somewhere in the center here. Okay, and we can see there is a space here from the beginning. Now I have to explain before we go and start coding such an application, or applet in this case. We consider all this pane here is like a coordinate x and y, and the initializing point, or where we start, okay, is here, 0, 0, and here is the maximum. Let's say 250, 250 here, for example. Okay, and if you move this side, y-axis is 0, same like in mathematics, and x-axis will go to maybe 250 or 200 or 150, or it depends on your application. The same goes here. X-axis will be 0, goes to y, so it will be 0 and something. So these are coordinates. In order for us to draw a line, we need to use a paint method, and we need to use graphic instance of graphics class, and then we will need to enforce the draw of a line. And in order for us to draw a line, very similar to mathematics, we need to specify the starting point and the ending point. Maybe this is the starting, this is the ending, it doesn't matter actually, but a starting point and an ending point, and then we can use the graphics and paint to create those. Let's go ahead and just do it. Okay, I'm going to create a class. What do I call it? JApplet. I will use, let me call it line drawing, for example. Line drawing. The name here doesn't actually matter much. Let me clean up this. So I'm not into the documentation now. I don't want to document. All right. So we did earlier have this kind of scenario with the initializer, which is very similar to the constructor, but it comes by default when you create a when you extend a JApplet. Okay. Now, what we need to do. For the initializer, you can leave it at totally plain, but I'm going to do this. I'll just do one step, content, get content pane, where we are supposed to present our drawing, okay, dot, and now we have a method set background color. I'll set the background color to white so that I can see what I'm drawing. Though you can change it, it doesn't matter, or you can skip all this step totally, but I'm used to it because the content pane is extremely useful with the background color, especially with complicated applications in Java in this case. That's why I say I usually prefer to use it. It's a method of setting up these methods will help you a lot to customize the background of your own applet. Okay, now I said I need one method which is paint, and that will help us to draw actually, or in other words, paint. Okay, public void. It's a void method. There is no return from it. Paint, and then what do we paint actually? Graphics. We need to use instance of graphics. It's a class. Let me refer to it by G. In most of applications you see, most of applications you see in Java applets, people use this one as G, maybe capital or small, but as a graphics instance of a graphics. Now, because we didn't import the AWT fully, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'll import all of it fully. Okay, so in that case, I'll not have a problem with the this instance is available, or the class, this instance, the definition of it is available in AWT, so we need to either separately import it or include the asterisk to have all of the classes in there. Now, what am I going to do? Now look at these, I'm sorry, not this one, look at these. This is red, dark red, or red actually. This is green, blue, pink maybe, or orange, pink. So what are we going to do? We need to specify them. Let's start by this one. It starts from here. This is not exactly 0 and 0. It's like 10 and 10. We have space. We can call it 10 and 10. We can consider it 10 and 10. So let's go and do it. I have to define the color that I'm going to draw with. Okay, set color. You can see it's coming out here, and I'm not going to draw yellow. It's by default. I will draw by red initially. Okay, and red, as I just showed, it's like it starts from here. 0, 0, 250, maybe 250, for example. So 240, 240, or maybe 260, 250 approximately. This one is 250. Now you may ask, if I get such a question, how will I answer 200? How will I know? You don't have to worry about that. We will not ask your precise measurement by eye. No, you don't have to do that. We would actually specify these points to you if we're going to ask similar things. You don't have to guess, but I'm just trying to speculate. Yes, it's 250, 250, yes, okay, 250. So I will draw G dot draw line. Now let me explain, because we have so many. Now you see draw by, draw cars, image, draw line, as you see here, draw oval, we will be also using it, polygon, these are also convenient, rectangle, so rectangle here, a round rectangle, string also, so many. I'm going to pick up the line, so draw a line. I'll be drawing a line, and this line is defined by 4 points. You can see width, 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 because they consider the line is like coming to a diagonal of a rectangle. So if we draw a rectangle like this, now look, let me show you like here. Imagine this one is a rectangle, okay, connecting these 4 angles, and this is like a diagonal of it. So this is the point, like we have 2 points here, 2 points here, and that's exactly the point, what we need to consider. So we have the first point, we said 10 and 10, 10 for x-axis or x coordinates, and 10 for y coordinates. We speak about pixels, by the way, here. It's not centimeters or millimeters. And look at this. How about this one? This one is 250, 250. 250 for x-axis, we move 250 pixels, and for y-axis as well. So here I have to specify that as well, 250. We could have defined them as these as final. If you want, you can do that, but I personally wouldn't do it, at least for this application, just for teaching you. We could have defined like maybe x coordinate, y coordinate, and different x and y coordinate, x1 coordinate, for example, or x coordinate 1, and so on. So this will draw only the first line, but we have other lines. Now here we have one with the green, one with the blue, one with the pink. Let's move to this one. This one we're moving halfway through, so 250 minus 10, 240 divided by 200, 240 divided, 10 plus 250, that is 260. So the distance from here to here is 260. If we divide it by 2, it will be 130 here. So 130, this is the x-axis. For y-axis is 10. I just moved 10 only, this small part, 10. So the second one, I'm going to set up the color. So I change my graphics set. Can I do that? Of course you can. Why? Because that one is already done. I mean, after this process here, it's done. You can recustomize it the way you like. We said blue, capital or small, it doesn't matter. And then what we need to do, we need to draw also a line. And this line, we need to specify. We said for x, it goes 130. And for y, the initial, it's 10. Let's go to the next one. This is a vertical axis, so x will remain same, but y will change. So y will change to another value in that case, and in here it will be, let me just check. Okay. 10. No, I'm not drawing the blue. I'm drawing the green. Okay, since not blue, I will change this one to green. I got stuck because this is blue and I said, no, it's not, its beginning is not here. Okay, so we are speaking about the green, and the green actually, x by itself is not 10. What did I do? Yeah, 130, that's correct. And then its vertical axis, so x will remain fixed, y will change. So y will change to what? To the maximum value here, 250. Okay. Now how about 200, not 20, 250. Okay. Now what about the next? This is not blue, I said green. I got myself confused. Let's check the blue one. This blue one is easy. This is for x, it is 250, but for y is just 10. Here, the opposite, it's 10 and 250. It's like flipped. Why? Because here x is just a tiny difference or offset, but y is huge, and the other way here. Okay, so let's get back to our drawing. So again, we set the color because we have different type of color, or different color in this case. My color here is blue, so I'll set it to blue, not blue, blue. Okay, and then I'll set the type of draw a line, and this line should be from somewhere here. We set for x is 250. Yes, initially, let me check here which point we start up with. We can start by this one or this one, it's up to you. If you start by this one, 10, 250, and this one will be 250 and 10, or you can start by this one, 250 and 10, and go to the other one. It's up to you, totally up to you. Doesn't matter in this case, this specific case. So let's say I start by 10, 250, and then 250 and 10, and this is totally fine in this case. The last one, the one here, the horizontal one, is like pink. Yeah, it seems to be pink, and it starts by here halfway through, so 130 for x and 10 for y. Then it ends by again 130 for x and 250 for y. So let's just do it again. Let's set the color, set color. Okay, and here the color is pink. You can check all the list of colors available in Java, and you can see how you can extend. If you would like to add some color, you can do it, but it needs some modification in your classes. It's not tough. Some applications require actually a new type or new colors. Now we said since it is pink, we start from 10 and halfway through 130, and then we end by 250 for x, and again this is a vertical axis, so 130, horizontal, not vertical, I'm sorry. Okay, and that's it. So that's all we need to do. It's just as simple as it is. We don't have to override or do any other thing. That's it. Let's just run the application now, because I have to stretch it a little bit. I provided 250 more than the default view of the applet. The default view is less than 250. It's approximately 200. Okay, so in this case you can see this is exactly what we were asking for, but don't worry about the default. You can stretch it because you are not providing it in a website now. By the way, you should be able to add this one to an HTML. You can tag it to an HTML. Try to do that. It's really easy. The only problem is you need to set up your or you need to manipulate your the setting of the web browser so that it accepts displaying Java in it. For some security measures, usually it blocks the Java, and it's easy actually. It has just one statement you can put between the tag and all the HTML lines that you need to do. Just maybe you can add the title and the head and then body, and you can just provide a tag within the body to add the applet. Check it out. It's not really hard. If you have a problem, ask me. just try to add it to an HTML and see how, if you run that HTML page, it's just a browser page, and then how it would be displayed without using NetBeans or any IDLE. And this is actually it for this question. We are done. I'll have another session. I'll record another session. Until then, have a good time. Goodbye.